right now I feel the most optimistic about their actually being able to get a deal, and mostly because the politics for this align. If early in the year, it wasn't certain, but now with so many provisions expiring after Christmas, including unemployment insurance, the eviction moratorium, and the small business help, those things expiring really puts the pressure. And I believe, as you've heard from Senator McConnell and Senator Schumer and Pelosi, that they're going to get a deal done.
So I mean, I want to say this is deja vu all over again, a little hat tip to Yogi Berra out there. But we've heard these headlines before. There is a real sense of urgency right now because there's a government shutdown that's set to take hold. And now there are lawmakers who are tying government shutdown avoidance to COVID relief. Does that mean that a deal definitely gets done today?
Well, I don't think it means it definitely gets done today. I think you have time, even if the government shuts down today, technically, you have the weekend. And where that really doesn't impact is when you get to Monday and Tuesday, where might have a bigger impact. But even with that right now, since we're in the holiday season, you won't really see the impact. So really, they have until Christmas to get this done. And I really think that because it's in everyone's interest, if you think about it, with the Georgia elections coming up, the senators there are getting attacked in the media about whether or not they're going to get a deal. And so it really would help. And I know if McConnell really wants to win those seats.
You have you work for a financial company at Invesco. You run a group that looks at U.S. government affairs. What exactly then does your group look at right now as being the biggest risk for investors coming out of Washington, D.C.?
Well, I think the biggest risk for investors is not getting a deal. I mean, right now, if you don't get this deal, the market's already kind of baked this deal in right now. And if Washington is shown as ineffective at this level, it's really tough. Beyond that, beyond Washington, I'd say it's really about the vaccine. It's about, can we get the vaccine out in time? You've heard that on your show multiple times. If by the spring and by the summer, we have a lot of progress on the vaccine, not only does it help us from a health perspective, but it also helps the economy. That's when you can get restaurants open. That's when you get the economy going. And so we're really watching that in the longer term.
You mentioned that the markets have fully priced in the expectation of government action right now. That also implies that if they don't act, there will be a market drop. How deep do you think a market drop would be if congressional leaders in the White House do not come to some kind of a deal to both keep the government open and get stimulus out to many of the Americans out there who need it the most?
As far as the market drop, I think it'll be shallow, if anything, and temporary, because even if they don't get it, you know they're ultimately going to get a deal. Honestly, Dom, this deal is actually much more important with respect to how individuals out there who are hurting. You and I are on the top side of the K economy. We get to work from home. But for those who are unemployed or those who actually have to get out and go to work and under hardship conditions, that's really it's impacting. So this is the part that's impacting lives. I think the markets are going to be fine overall.
All right. So you mentioned the K-shaped. What exactly happens next year under a Biden administration to narrow that K, to make sure that the Americans hardest hit by the economic downturn actually start to get brought up?
So you're going to see, if you get this down payment on COVID relief package, he's going to come back, President Biden will come back and try to get COVID stimulus to really get the economy going. He can also work towards infrastructure. That's where he's really going to focus. And the key there is going to be, what's the shape of the Senate? If the Democrats have the Senate, you can see that those packages being larger. If the Republicans maintain the Senate, you can see them being smaller. Also, like I said before, if the vaccine is fully baked and out there across the country and the economy is starting to come alive, you're going to see Republicans argue, hey, we don't really need that big of a package. So those are the things we're watching.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.